Play and Learning Theories by Kelly Jones. In this presentation, we'll be exploring the characteristics of play, types of play, links between play and learning theories. When children play, they are given the freedom to come up with ideas, use their imagination to process information and imagine alternatives, connect with their surroundings and each other. An important characteristic of play is the enjoyment. Children are more open to learning and communicating if they are enjoying it. Even as adults, when we enjoy something, we're more likely to put in the effort and energy into it, which in turn opens us up to more information and learning. Play should be actively engaging. A child who is so engrossed in their game is developing the skills and their ability to stay focused on a task. Children will grow to develop social skills through play. Socially interactive play helps the children to work and learn in teams and groups, play alongside one another, and manage their emotional and social development through self-learning and observing others by communicating their thoughts and opinions and listening to their peers' thoughts and opinions. Repetitive play is also a great way for the children to begin problem solving through play. For example, children building with Lego blocks into a tower will find that the tower may fall down and wobble, so they will begin to rebuild using their imagination to find an alternative way to help build, understanding and reflecting on what didn't work the first time. Play must always be creative and imaginative. Play allows the children freedom to choose for themselves how, what, where and with whom they wish to play with. By observing children, we are also able to see a little of how their mind works, how they will challenge themselves and others, what risks they will take, and how far their imagination can take them. Mildred Party devised the stage theory of play after researching the development of children preschool ages 2 to 5. Parton devised the 7 stages of play when observing how the children's development of social and communicative skills were affected through play. She determined that once the child had accomplished at a particular stage of play, they continued to exhibit that stage in combinations with other stages. The 7 stages are unoccupied play. This stage play is mostly seen in the younger years, especially babies. Babies will play with their hands and feet, kicking and grasping things and exploring using their mouth. Onlooker play. This is when a child is happy to watch others play without needing to or wanting to join in. They are happy to observe others and will still learn through observation. Solitary play. This is when a child is happy to play independently with their own toy without the need for others to join in. Parallel play. Similar to solitary play, the child is still playing alone but is able to play alongside another child. For example, when painting or drawing next to someone, both children are doing the same activity but separately. Associate play. During this stage, children will have begun to play with others, doing same activities and games such as dress up or playing house, are able to share some things but are still following their own individual storyline. Cooperative play. As the children develop, so does their skills for social play and working together. The children begin to take turns and negotiate the rules and structures of their games. They are able to communicate better to achieve a common goal, for example, a treasure hunt or hide and seek. Structured play. This type of play tends to be a more adult planned activity, such as a game of Simon Says or a sports related activity. In educational settings, there are various categories of play used by staff to describe the children's activities and development. Although they are listed separately, most will fall into more than one category. Bob Hughes devised these play types to enable play workers, teachers, trainers and managers to have a common language to help describe and observe play. The play types include social, socio-dramatic, rough and tumble, exploratory, object, creative, communication, deep recapitulative, symbolic, fantasy, dramatic, imaginative, locomotor, mastery and role play. We will explore some examples now. Social play involves the children's ability to decide upon and agree a set of rules for a game or making something as a group. Rough and tumble play is not as terrible as it sounds. Rather than fighting as some would imagine, this type of play involves children to participate in physical activities that does not involve or result in somebody getting hurt. Creative play allows the children to discover interesting things using hands-on experience. They are able to use their imagination to try out new ideas and explore what results of that idea. Play is one of the most important skills used and needed during a child's development. From birth, a child will begin to learn from their surroundings and themselves, and as the child grows, they will need to learn new skills to understand society and the world around them, as well as knowledge and physical skills to succeed. The Development Matters Non-Statutory Guideline was developed by the Early Years Learning with support from the Department of Education to help staff managers working in the early years setting to implement the statutory framework for the EYFS. Those working in the early years settings are able to use the Development Matters guideline to help with planning, observation and assessment. The ages for development will overlap as there is not a set stage for individual ages. The 4 themes of the EYFS include a unique child, positive relationships, enabling environment, and learning and development. These skills are developed through the ages at different rates, and it is important to understand that children will learn differently and at different levels. The characteristics of effective learning include planning, exploring, active learning, creating and thinking critically. That through these skills, children will begin to develop personal, social and emotional development, communication and language development, and physical development, which will then lead on to the specific area skills such as literacy, mathematics, understanding the world, and expressive arts and designs. Through play, all of the skills mentioned will be developed. Active learning begins from birth and has been mentioned in many theorist studies. Children will mimic and engage with people and objects around them, which allow for them to develop their own schemas and how they see the world. Children will begin to form social skills, express feelings and communicate with those around them. They will learn to compromise and negotiate, and these skills will follow them through to adulthood. Planning and exploring allows the children to interact with the world around them, discover interesting things and question what they originally thought about them. Coordination and physical skills are developed as they walk, run, jump, skip, as well as gross and fine motor skills. Cooperative play will help them to develop social skills and their ability to join in structured play such as sports games. Learning theories have given so much insight into the way that children learn, behave, socialise and develop. We've touched on some theories earlier in the presentation. We will now be exploring the use of learning theories in the development of play. Jean Piaget was one of the most familiar theorist as his cognitive stages of what have shaped the curriculum now taught in all schools. Piaget's theories concluded that children develop through 4 stages known as the sensory-motor stage, the pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage and the formal operational stage. It is during these stages that children begin to develop skills needed to process information through schemas, through adaptation. Children begin to construct knowledge by creating and testing their own theories, and through assimilation the children begins adding information to their existing schema. In the sensory-motor stage, children exhibit practice play and are developing new knowledge of their own by exploring sounds, textures and tastes of what is close to them. During the pre-operational stage, children begin more symbolic play, pretend play, exploring their environment and developing their own schemas of what they believe. In the concrete operational stage, children begin to think more logically, so games with rules and problems become easier and more successful. Piaget's stages help to define the start of an age bracket for the development of children and how they learn. However, many other theorists disagreed with these ages. Lev Vygotsky, for instance, understood the social aspect of learning, which is a big factor when children are learning through play. Vygotsky believed that the zone of proximal development describes what children can do alone and what can be achieved with encouragement from a more knowledgeable other. For example, a child learning to tie their shoelaces will not benefit from an adult or a peer doing it for them, but showing them on a shoe and talking them through the process, then allowing them to do it alone will teach them faster than expecting them to figure it out by themselves. In Bandura's learning theory, it explores the children's social skills of social learning through his Bobo doll experiments. From this, we have learnt that children will mimic what they see others do. In play, this helps the children to watch others and repeat skills and games they've seen others do, but there is also a risk of repeating bad behaviour that they have seen from others. Another theorist whose theory can be adapted to play is B.F. Skinner's behaviourist theory. Through his experiments, Skinner proved that rewarding behaviour can encourage the correct behaviour to continue. When doing an adult-led activities with the children, you can encourage the children with rewards when certain skills are accomplished. For example, learning colours or letters through games and songs. Howard Gardner proposed that different people have different intelligences. Unlike other theorists who believed in stages, Gardner believed that people have a multitude of intelligences which make up their ability to learn. This can help us understand why children play and learn in different ways, as they include visual, tends to think of picture forms, linguistic, ability to use the words and think in words rather than picture, interpersonal, a good ability to understand people, intrapersonal, ability to understand themselves, logical, understands reason, logical problem solving and can apply this to life. Musical, thinks in sounds and rhythms and will benefit from learning through songs. Bodily, expresses themselves through movement. Naturalistic, ability to relate information to their surroundings. Not every theory will apply to every child, but it is important to remember that all children will learn and develop differently. By understanding the importance of play, learning needs, and cognitive development and behaviour, we are able to provide children with the best options for their development needs.